You're listening to The Hardpoint with OnePunchDad and Code Rome's.
Welcome back to The Hardpoint, episode number 47, ladies and gentlemen. 47. We're flapping our wings. We're flying free. A couple of eagles coming at you.
Wings of eagles, baby.
Wings of eagles, baby. My name is Josh. I go by OnePunchxdad online.
My name's Cody. I go by Big C Murd up in here.
Big C Murd.
Big C Murd.
C Murd.
I fully transitioned.
You fully transitioned. Is it? I think you need to actually change your handle to C Murd at this point.
Probably.
It's very.
That's more just like lazy.
It's very confusing to people. Do you like breakfast food?
Oh my God, it's my favorite. It's my favorite type of food, without a doubt.
Before we got on the pod here, I was starving, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of bacon.
Sure.
I'm gonna put it in a pan. I'm gonna chop it up into little bite-sized pieces. Put it in a pan, and then I'm gonna dump some eggs over the top of that, scramble it up. It's the best decision I made all day.
Wait, what was the first part?
Bacon.
Bacon. Okay.
Yeah.
Bacon.
Just a little bacon.
So how do you?
Bacon
Wow.
egg scramble.
This could splinter off into a million different conversations. How do you cook your bacon?
How do I cook it?
Yeah. Like what method?
Well, in this case, I took some bacon. I didn't want to have like a bunch of it because if I have too much,
Right.
I start feeling kind of sluggish. But I took some bacon. I chopped it into little like 1 inch by 1 inch pieces.
Okay.
Got them nice and separated because they are kind of like conjoined a little bit.
Yeah.
Got them all separated up so they cook evenly. Heated up my pan, very hot. Put the bacon in the pan and then reduced the heat so it didn't nuke the bacon.
Sure.
But and just keep it moving so they don't.
So
like,
just in the
stick.
pan and kind of slide it around.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah. Like a lot of people will put like some butter or some oil in there, but bacon is
Yeah.
already like
doesn't
70%
need it.
fat, so it really
Right.
makes its own oil, and you just kind of roll it around till you get a nice brown on it, nice char on the bacon.
And it kind of lubes the pan for the eggs.
Yeah. I threw my eggs in there, turned it around a little bit, got those all. I did not pre-scramble them. I just threw them in there and just kind of raked them around.
I don't like pre-scrambling them. I find that
It feels like an unnecessary step.
it does. I just put them in the pan.
Yeah.
Put them in the pan. And I don't even like whip it hard, dude. I kind of slowly stir it. When mine are done, you can still kind of see like some white and yellow separation.
Yeah.
That's the sign of a good scrambled egg to me.
I honestly, that to me, from a like color perspective, is more appetizing.
Yes. They're just yellow.
Yeah, it like gives you a sense that it was a real living egg and not like fake egg.
We know what's really weird. We started getting the brown ones. What is
like farm fresh eggs or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
And at first it's weird because the yolk is orange. And if all your life you're used to white eggs with a yellow yolk, these seem really weird. But what's equally weird is if we ever don't get that, if we just get like regular eggs and the inside is yellow, that looks very weird to me now. Very weird.
I need my yolk to have like a specific color. It's got to be the right kind of yellow or the right kind of orange.
Sure.
I'm cool with either, but like there's some that have like a really like faint yellow, like it's not yellow enough. I don't like that. I don't know what happened there.
No, I've been doing my eggs recently. Not to make this all about eggs, but fried eggs, dude. I'll get like 3 of them. I'll heat the pan up, heat them up.
Yep.
And I'll crack them gently, kind of pour them in there, 3 around the pan, and I'll just kind of like medium heat, kind of push them around. You can slide them around.
Yep.
And then I'll plate those, and then I'll cook some ground beef real quick with some rice.
Oh.
And then I'll have like, I'll just have like 3 fried eggs and then some ground beef and some rice. A lot of protein, a little bit of carbs, great balanced meal.
A fried egg, like a sunny side up egg.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I grew up not eating those, thinking because that's like the cartoon egg, right? Like if there's there's eggs in a cartoon, there is always like a sunny side up egg. But I grew up eating scrambled eggs, thinking like, man, who would eat a fried egg? But I throw down for a fried egg, man. If you ever make like fancy ramen, you get like the actual like Korean or Japanese ramen, fry up an egg, stick it on top of that. Who doggy?
I get far less filled up with fry. I feel like I could eat 5 fried eggs, but I get filled on like 3 scrambled eggs. I don't know if that
I don't
tracks
know,
at all, but
it does track actually. I don't know what it is about that, but like I love fried eggs and toast. That might be one of my favorite meals that I make for myself. Is like you get like some fancy toast, right? Like some sourdough bread, get it nice and toasty, butter it up, and then you take your fried eggs and you fry them, and then you kind of chop them up and get that gooey stuff on the bread. Oh gosh.
You like goat cheese?
I don't like goat cheese actually.
Oh, dude, we got the sourdough one time, and I would slice it, spread goat cheese on it, and then put the fried egg on top of that.
I
can taste it right now.
I will do cream cheese, but goat cheese is too sour for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste right to me.
Cream cheese would be good too.
Yeah. But I will say that with cream cheese, maybe goat cheese if you're a goat cheese guy, with some avocado and some everything bagel sprinkles.
Yeah. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, me too, man. I just ate. How are you, man? How the hell are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing so good. So good. Saturday night, beautiful weather today. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
weather.
I was outside most of the day today. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous in this region of the country. Can't say that about everywhere else in the country, but quite nice here.
Yeah, we got out. My wife actually had plans to go do something, but she was like, you know what? It's a beautiful day. Let's all 3 get out, hang out. So we went to downtown Prosper, walked around. They had this little shop. It's called Famous in Oregon. I've never heard of it, but it's nothing but plants on the inside, like real plants. This little boutique shop, and then pumpkins on the front. So we went and got a pumpkin for the front porch, and I got my daughter a little like mini pumpkin about yay big, very cute.
First,
and we all set them at the front door.
First is this not your first like pumpkin for your house, is it?
No, I think we got one last year.
That's
Maybe
good.
the year before.
That's good.
And then walked around and came home.
Good.
What are your thoughts on
Saturday well spent?
Yeah, okay. So there was a brewery at this downtown place.
Okay.
Obviously, we have a baby with us.
Yeah.
We debated going in. They had food. But obviously, it's a brewery. Like the main thing is drinking beer.
Yeah.
We weren't going to drink, but we also opted to just not go in at all. Is it weird to go into a brewery with the baby, but we're not going to drink? We're just there to kind of eat and hang out. Is that weird?
So, no, I don't think it's weird. I think the vibe at like a tap house or a brewery is slightly different than that of a bar. Like if you go to a bar with a baby, legally, I don't think you can go to a bar with a baby.
Sure.
But a lot of those like breweries and tap houses in the kind of like more gentrified areas of town.
Yeah.
Well, they have like things for the kids to do even. Like some of them have like, what do they call it? Cornhole and.
Right.
You know.
And we saw people taking kids in there.
Yeah.
Which I think I would have been cool with, but for some reason, like a stroller and a little 4-month-old baby just felt a little different.
Excuse me. I think you would have been fine.
Probably would have.
Yeah. I think it would have been.
I'm known to overthink things. I think my wife would have been cool with going in, but I was like, let's not.
Well, now you know for next time you're off the hook. You can definitely take your baby into the brewery.
Yeah. What'd you do this weekend?
Today I helped my wife construct a rather crude but I think if it's quasi effective chicken coop. We have some chickens in the yard. We have some turkeys, some ducks, and they've gotten bigger, so we're trying to kind of extend their area. So I had to dig some holes in the yard and put some poles in the ground or put some posts in the ground. And then we ran some chicken wire across those, which is not very easy to work with. Metal, even in its most like malleable form, is still metal. So it's like a lot of like pulling and tugging, and it's like springing back as I'm trying to like stretch it across these rickety poles. But we got a good amount of work on that done today. But it was nice to be outside. You mentioned the weather. Could not have been a more beautiful day. Spent most of my time either doing that or just sitting outside chilling.
It's one of those things where you get done and you can step back and look at what we did.
I think I did just that very thing, actually. I definitely enjoyed my progress today. But yeah, did that. Just taking in the nice post summer weather. Did you watch any football today?
I actually tonight there was a game I was very interested in. I watched a little bit earlier. I tried to be more active today, but Georgia versus Alabama.
Oh man,
big matchup tonight.
Oh man,
number 2 in the country versus number 4 in the country. A lot of history together. Super pumped for that. And it was 30-7 at halftime. So.
Alabama ball game probably.
They were up, yeah. And I was actually going for them. For some reason, I can't stand Georgia. Can't stand them.
You're a roll tide kind of guy.
I'm not a hater.
I think at this time towards the beginning of the summer, you were talking about it being like a big like sport season with. I think at the time it was basketball and hockey were kind of culminating, and now
the playoffs are at the same time.
Yeah, and now you've got football and baseball, which is they're fixing to get into the postseason. So it feels like another kind of like big like sporting time of year.
Right.
So lots to watch.
This year I've tried to take a slightly different approach. And on Saturdays, if I'm going to watch college football, kind of pick one game.
Yeah.
The biggest matchup and watch that. Or the same thing on Sundays, like maybe just watch the Cowboys. I feel like I love sports, but boy, can you waste away an entire day just from morning to bedtime, laying there watching football, man. And I wanted this year to not waste an entire Sunday, an entire Saturday, an entire weekend at that, watching games. So I do still enjoy watching, but I tried to be better about, all right, pick one game, enjoy it, and then spend the surrounding time like doing something.
Yeah. I mean,
actually doing something.
It does kind of like back in the day, I feel like people were like had it right. Like they would get a radio and just like listen to the game while they like toiled in the field or whatever they were doing back then. But being able to like watch your game and do a task, I think is a nice thing.
It is. That's what I did. I had some games going on this morning and then kind of picked the house up. I was cleaning.
Yeah.
It's nice, as you're zipping back and forth to have something on, you can kind of stop and check it out for a little bit and then continue on. So, yeah.
Good deal. Sounds like a nice chill weekend we're having. I'm liking this.
And the Cowboys played on Thursday.
Yeah.
So that means like a free Sunday. Tomorrow, I might have some stuff on in the background, but I'm not going to be...
Not invested.
I'm actually rooting for like the Cowboys' demise this year.
Yeah.
That's a different... Yeah.
Just rip the Band-Aid off. Like let them suck right out of the gate and be nowhere near a postseason run.
That's exactly... I want the Cowboys to go down in flames. I just want the whole thing on fire.
Who are you actively pulling for this year?
Whoever's playing the Cowboys.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Your favorite is whoever stands a chance of demolishing the Cowboys, huh?
I'm not jumping to another team. I'm just jumping off that team. I'd have more of like a neutral outlook.
Just trying to burn down the house as you leave, huh?
I'm just so fucking tired of them, dude. I'm so tired of them. I'm so tired of them. I just want...
Tired of your bullshit, Cowboys.
Exactly. I want this year to be such a disaster that I don't know, that people are fired, heads roll, tear it down, start it from scratch.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they need. They need a season that just goes so poorly that they have to rebuild from the management level down. Just a complete
ownership down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start with Jerry Jones. Get him out of there. I don't know if it works that way though. It doesn't. I mean, he owns the organization, right? He can't be ousted.
He owns it, and then when he dies, guess what? He has a son. So that guy has a son.
Is Jerry Jones Jr. going to take over?
There is a Jerry Jr., but Stephen Jones is the oldest.
The heir to the Jerry world.
He's the heir to the throne. Yeah, he's the future Jerry. Just another Jerry.
Maybe maybe he is like quietly like he's got a good like strategy to get the Cowboys back on track. Do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think, but maybe.
Why? I'm so pessimist, man. This is our team here. Come on.
This is what they've done to me. I wasn't born like this. I was beaten into submission.
This is a man who's been hurt before. I get it. Hey, let's break into our first little segment here. It's called "What Are You Crushing?" where we talk about whatever media, shows, games, books, television, poetry, literature,
bird watching, candle making.
That's right.
Baking.
I will add as my precursor to "What Are You Crushing?" I will tee you up for your Spartan minute.
Yeah.
What progress have we made in the 5 days since we recorded the last episode?
Well, I'll tell you what. I've trained every single day.
My man.
You got me pumped up, man. You got me feeling good. Got me feeling right.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a combo platter of running. I don't know if I told you this last week or not, but I've been training just out of my garage. I got a set of dumbbells that go up to 50. So I'll run a lap, and then I'll do 3 sets of some sort of workout. And then I'll run a lap, and I'll do 3 sets of a workout. Then I'll run a lap and do 3 sets of a workout. So it's interval training, it's cardio, it's some strength and dumbbell stuff. So I've been doing that. I've ran every day since we recorded last. But I've also done the F45 that I told you about, the class.
Yeah.
So I went Tuesday because we recorded Tuesday. And I wasn't able to go the rest of the week, but I did train every day. And then this morning, I went back to F45. And it was tough. It was tough. It was an hour class. And there's 3 stations. 2 of them have 6 different workouts in them. And you hit each of them 3 times. So you're in one station, and it's basically 6 sets of, it's 6 by 3, right? So you do 1, you go to the next, go to the next, go to the next, go to the next. And it's basically 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So you're not doing like reps necessarily. You're just doing it for 40 seconds. And then you got 20 seconds to transition to the next one.
Damn.
So you do those 6 exercises 3 times. And then you move over to the next station. And it's rowing for 5 minutes, the skiing thing for 5 minutes, and then cycling for 5 minutes. And then you go to the third station, and it's the same as the first one. It's 6 workouts, and you hit them each 3 times. And it equals like an hour perfectly. Burned like 850 calories in that hour, dude. It was pretty intense.
I want to ask because I know here in about a month and a week or two, well, about a month and 2 or 3 weeks, I guess, you're going to be 30, turning 30.
Yeah.
This is the year. How do you evaluate your body's response to running? Is a big one, right? I felt that running got harder as I went along. I'm to the point now where I kind of have to be careful when I run. I can still do it. I can still run fairly fast, actually. But it's painful on the old chassis. You know what I mean?
That's a great question, and I totally agree. I've never been a consistent runner, but I've had pockets of time where I've tried to become a runner.
Yeah.
And this time in particular, man, I ran Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so 3 days in a row. After the first day, I was feeling a little bit sore. The second day, feeling a little sore, but I fought through it. Yesterday, my legs hurt so bad. And it's all below the knee. It's my calves, my shin, just kind of like between the ankle and the knee.
Yeah.
Is so sore and tender that yesterday when I was running, I wasn't having to push through like a conditioning issue. I was having to push through just
actual pain,
dude. Like I felt like my kneecaps were going to fall out of my legs. Yeah. I felt like I was like teetering on injury, man. It hurt. And it wasn't like I could have kept running as far as just like the juice I had, but my legs hurt so bad that I could hardly stand up after I got done running. So
do you feel like you have? So I've got a very like heavy stride. Like my heel strike is pretty. Like if I sprint, it is the equivalent of like someone hitting me in the bottom of my foot with a hammer over and over again.
Right.
It is just real intense. Do you when you run or when you're actually trying to run with some intensity, do you feel like pain then, or does the pain normally come after the fact?
it's usually after a while. It's not like per strike hurts. It's just kind of sustained over a period of time. I start to feel the pain.
Yeah.
I try to be conscious of like my stride weight.
Okay.
I kind of feel like I just run how I run, but I do, as I'm running, try to not just fucking pound the pavement
Smack
like
the
that.
earth, yeah.
Yeah, so I do try to keep that in mind. I'm hoping that it's just my legs aren't in running shape. That's kind of my hope here, that because if that's what it's like every time I run, I'm just not going to be able to run. It felt like I was doing like damage to my body. It wasn't even just, push through the pain. It was more like I feel like, I don't know, man. I'm just hoping that after a few days to a week and, run a few more times, maybe a rest day in there, don't run, that I won't feel like that after I run. But yes, I felt it like big time.
Well, good. I'm proud of you for pushing. Just don't push too hard.
I know. Yes. I feel way better though. I attribute you for pulling me out of the ditch last week. I feel great. I'm ready for the Spartan race.
Was that really helpful?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. No, it really was. I respond well to people like
hyping you up.
hyping me up, man. Sometimes I get down, and I just need some words of affirmation from my buddy. So
I got you covered, brother.
it definitely helped. And the other thing, I'll make this quick. Vampire Survivor. You're totally right. You're totally right, man.
Yeah.
That game is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not nearly as good as what it sounds like you are. I got to 20 last night. That was a new PR for me. And I was like, I don't understand what 70 could even be.
Dude,
if this is 20.
It is. I'm telling you, I don't know why I dialed in on this game. It's nothing like we typically play. It's nothing like I typically enjoy. I've said it last week. I'm not a cell phone game guy.
No.
But I have had some pretty fun sessions ripping through Vampire Survivors. And I will tell you, once you do get to those higher levels, I say higher because I know the game's been out for a while and there's probably people who've had runs in the hundreds, if not thousands of levels.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the early if you're an early stage player of the game, getting to level like 50, 60, it's just the screen is full of, in a lot of cases, some of the more like high level bad guys. But I loved getting messages from you this week like, hey man, are you more of a garlic guy? Do you go firepower or healing? I really loved getting those questions because it's like I was where he was at a week ago.
No, I'm a garlic guy. If that's an option, because the early enemies, you can just run through them.
Yeah.
You don't actually have to attack them.
Yeah.
So it's just like instant orb every time.
Yeah. There's
and dude, I got a magnet. Have you got a magnet yet?
The attract orb,
where it brings every orb on the map to you.
Yeah.
And your level just skyrockets.
So there's that, the one that you find that just brings everything to you. And then you can actually get one as a power-up that just makes your reach farther. It's called the Tract Orb.
Okay.
And you can grow that to the point where, I mean, kind of like the garlic, right? It scales and gets wider and stuff. So you don't necessarily have to walk over the orbs anymore to get them. So you can kind of be like carving at a big, group of the monsters or whatever.
Grabbing them all.
And grabbing all the orbs. And especially if you have garlic, which is pretty much just like a force field around you, and it's killing pretty much everything or doing damage to everything around you, and they die, you get all those orbs much more quickly. Yeah, I like that one. I'm a big King Bible guy. I think the King Bible's pretty cool.
I skip that one every time. What? I don't understand it.
So
I got it one time and like
it just like it's a Bible, but it just like rotates around you. It's like this and of course like you increase its power, you get more of them, and essentially you get like another layer of force field out of that.
Okay. I need to be picking up King Bible.
But yeah.
I like that there is strategy. Like depending on what you put because the better runs that I've done recently, I've focused more on power actually being able to kill the enemies. So you're not just running for your life, unable to get orbs, which is the only way that you level up. And like health or damage is lower. Like receiving damage is lower. Focusing on more of those, and my better runs came from that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like it's a dice roll right at the beginning, because you don't know what the level up choices are going to be, right? So like
right, yeah.
You know which ones you enjoy. Sometimes you get like none of the choices are good.
Right.
And you kind of just pick one by default. But yeah, like growing my damage with the spinach. You get the spinach.
Yep.
You increase your damage. The crown helps you level up faster. The heart obviously gives you the ability to heal. You can also go in the start menu, if you go into the power-up section, you can buy upgrades to those that are like permanent. They're just like just like persistent, like health regen.
Just like to your base level, basically.
Yeah. So I went through and played a couple of games. Once I started beefing those up, that's when I started getting to the higher levels. Yeah.
Dude, there's like the moment when your health is low and you're just running from like fire torch to fire torch, hoping
to get a chicken.
That you get a freaking chicken, dude. And they're so few and far between. Feels like 1 out of every 10 you'll get a chicken. It's like not a lot of health in this game.
But when you finally get one, the sound, like I said, this game, like the sound design is so like, it's so genius in how it like rewards you.
The background music and the treasure chest, you said that must be what it feels like to win
on the
slots. Big one at Vegas or whatever, dude. And it's just like a gold stream, and it's like
Yep. I'm telling you, man.
It's great.
Yep.
Vampire Survivor's awesome. And portrait mode is definitely the way. I tried one in landscape and it was weird.
It is. It's fun. I know a lot of people are going to be like, why aren't you playing this on PC? It's not a game that I would want to sit and play. I actually did. It's on Game Pass. I was right about that. And I put it on the Xbox, and I immediately was like, I don't know. I don't know about here. I don't know about this is how I want to play it. It's so much more satisfying to be able to open it up quick. We've talked about like being able to whip something out kind of on the couch when it's not really like video game time, but you've got a moment where you can kind of just kill some time.
The phone game is way lower commitment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's nice for that, and you can, play it, portrait mode, and just kind of you're just walking your guy around essentially.
Right.
And it's very oddly satisfying. I'll say that.
Definitely is.
Yeah.
So
very good.
Yep. Spartan Minute and Vampire Survivors.
Good job.
Go do it.
Good job.
What are you crushing?
Man, it kind of dawns on me that I didn't really think about this. I will say I did jump back into some Fortnite last night with my son. Get fisted. They've made some changes, so they're adding some Marvel stuff is kind of back in the scene again. There's a lot of kind of legendaries and power-ups that you can get. It's like Iron Man's armor and War Machine and Black Panther and stuff like that. Captain America's shields floating around out there. They have kind of reduced a lot of the vehicle bullshit that kind of like made us kind of sneer at it a couple months ago when the whole Metallica thing was going on. So a lot of that is kind of receded, thankfully. The weapon variety, I will say, has gotten real. Well, variety is kind of ironic because it's just like there's like 5 weapons that you're gonna get that aren't like the Avengers power ups. Sure. So that's kind of disappointing, but I'm not a huge Fortnite fan, so I'm not really the best person to kind of track like what kind of season they're in. I don't know. Like the Fortnite fan base might be loving or hating what's going on right now, but it just feels really repetitive at this point. Like there was nothing really cool going on. The whole I didn't love the vehicle part, but the whole Metallica thing did feel really fun. It felt really cool to be able to go and look at that. There is some stuff that's kind of going on in the map still. I think now there's like some of the Marvel bad guys like Doctor Doom is there and all this stuff. So there's things to do, but I don't know, man. It's Fortnite. It is what it is. Like it's still that. You know what I mean?
The same formula.
Same
with
formula.
a new skin.
Yeah, and it's weird because I don't mind a gameplay loop as long as the satisfaction that's tied to it is enough to keep me coming back. And I think that's why I love Call of Duty because even on a map where I'm not necessarily on the winning team or even doing well, there's something about it that keeps me coming back. I don't give a shit about leveling up. I don't even know what level I'm at on Call of Duty right now. But I just enjoy the get in there. It really feels like a video game equivalent of like some racquetball. It's just hop in, crank out a round, hop back out. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling Fortnite. I'm happy to be doing something with my son. I will say that.
Sure.
But yeah, that's really it. And then I'm glad I thought of this as my second thing here for What Are You Crushing? I watched, and I think you probably might be familiar with this, the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix. I watched that to completion this week. I don't have you pegged as being a wrestling fan, even in your youth, but I, when you were much younger, was a big wrestling fan. I loved WCW. I wasn't allowed to watch WWE, or it was WWF back then, but I wasn't allowed to watch that, but I watched it anyway. It was certainly the more like crass of the two wrestling federations. Right. But yeah, man, it was nutty to see, and he's in it. He's in the documentary, right? And there's a lot of stuff when they kick the documentary off. They kind of prepo it with the whole like, hey, we started shooting this in 2021 before a lot of these allegations about Vince McMahon came to light. And so he's in most of it, but they got like The Rock, Stone Cold's in it.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot like Booker T, Hogan's in it. A lot of really, really prominent faces from the wrestling world are in there. And it's a really great documentary from an enjoyment standpoint, but it is hard to watch in a lot of respects because this dude, as driven as he was and as much as he is responsible for kind of the landscape in wrestling today, he is a giant piece of shit. He is not. He's
a bad dude. Weird dude.
Certifiably a bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cannot say that I find anything redeeming about Vince McMahon at all. But
I'd be interested in watching. I'm very familiar with him in wrestling. I never had like a heyday of being super into it, but I'm very familiar with him and the whole scene. And I have heard good things about that documentary. So maybe
it is good, man. It is. I would say even if you're not like a wrestling fan necessarily, it is. It's good. It's good documentary making. It's enjoyable. And like I said, there's enough like familiar faces in it that I think you'd kind of, you know, it's a good story. It's not a story about a good person, that's for sure. And my kids came in and did something with the light, and now I look like
so you look different.
I'm looking awful Smurfy here. Hang on. I don't know what happened. Like I had my light kind of dialed in there, and then my kids opened the door behind me, and suddenly I look like Blue Man Group.
I thought they just like opened the blinds. That's all they did. I don't know how that affected
I had them
the front-facing light.
Good grief! Don't podcast if you got kids.
Oh, there you go.
What happened? What'd I do?
What was that?
I don't know.
You look completely different.
I know. What happened? Okay. Well, anyway.
Very interesting. You went from Smurf to like back to regular Josh.
Yeah, this actually is like optimal lighting, honestly. I think
you look great.
I think we're just gonna roll with it, honestly. Anyway,
that looks good.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Yeah, but that's me, man. That's what I crushed. So
that's nice.
Yeah,
I'll watch. I'll check it out. That sounds pretty good.
It's worth a look.
One quick note back to I meant to tell you about this about Vampire Survivors. Did you realize you could play co-op?
No.
Like on our phones, I'm pretty sure you and I could play together.
Really?
Yeah. Like if you don't have to do it right now, but if you pull it up and then go to settings, on the far left, there's all those tabs.
Yeah.
Just keep clicking on all those tabs, and one of them is co-op. So we should be able to like hop on together.
Oh man,
that'd be fun.
You already know. Let's.
You can drag me to level 70. Let's go.
I will, dude. I'll grind for you. I don't even care. That's good to know.
Hell yeah.
The game's fun as hell, man.
It is good.
Yeah.
It is good.
All right. We're in the countdown zone. I will say last thing before we transition here. We're in the countdown zone for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I know we still got like a little less than a month, but I'm amped. That's all I'm going to say. Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
I can't wait. I mean, I'll be experiencing it for the first time.
It's true.
I haven't played it at all. It'll be brand new to me.
It's going to make you feel very nostalgic for our Cold War days. It is good. In a lot of ways. It's essentially that game with a fresh coat of paint, but it's fun.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less. Give me a good Cold War follow-up. Some good Call of Duty action through the cold months and the holidays. And I'll be a happy camper.
Yeah. We're going to be happy campers, I think.
We're going to be happy campers.
I'm amped. All right. Sorry to cut you off.
No. I actually was thinking that a moment ago and didn't say anything.
All right. Oh, by the way, sorry. One last thing. Your mom and my dad and their brother and sister are on a road trip right now. I think maybe we talked about this last year, and I think your mom watches this show. But yeah, every year our parent sibling group, they take a trip all together, all four of them.
Yep.
And they go visit Civil War historic sites, and they're doing that right now.
As we speak. They landed today, like a few hours ago.
Yeah, they are in Gettysburg right now. I talked to my dad earlier. They're in Gettysburg. So very cool. Crazy. Very cool that they do that. I don't know. I felt like worth a mention, I guess.
I asked my mom, I was with her last weekend when we went to Austin. I was like, is it just a coincidence that you and all your siblings are really into the Civil War? Or was there something with your upbringing, y'all's dad? Like, did one of you get everybody else into it? I find that, in a good way, very odd, or the odds are low, I guess, that four siblings of very different ages, and not everybody knows this, but like from our oldest to the youngest, which is my mom, there's like 15 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of age gap, and you all just loved the Civil War. Like, how did that come about?
It is because our parents aren't ancient. Like, your mom's in her 50s. My dad's just now in his 60s. They're not old fogies.
Right.
But yeah, they all have like a deep maybe they I don't know. I have no idea, man. They did grow up in a very, very sheltered environment. I will say that. So I don't know. Maybe reading about Antietam was the only thing to pass the time back in the day. This is like, hey, I got 4 hours to kill. I'm going to dive in on Shenandoah here.
Maybe so. I just thought that was quite the coincidence.
It is. I wonder, because I have 4 kids, just like your mom and my dad is boy, girl, boy, girl. I wonder if they're all going to go on like trips like that, but they go to like cool stuff, like stuff that's actually interesting and fun.
Mr. Beast Land or something.
Yeah, they're going to go sibling trips in their 50s and 60s to Mr. Beast World. Which will probably be double the size and revenue of Disneyland in that span of time.
Probably.
Yeah.
I won't be going.
No, me neither. I'll be dead. Just kidding. All right. No more interruptions. Sorry about that.
Jeez. Guess we can shift into our meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down to shift into some meat. Say less.
Meat shift. Let's go.
Meat shift. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about briefly, and I don't know how long this conversation will go, but it's kind of resurfaced recently. I've been seeing it pop up on my feed.
Technically, it never resurfaced.
That was a good one. That was a really good one.
Okay, thanks.
On my feed, on the news, videos on YouTube popping up. And that is OceanGate.
OceanGate, yeah.
And I texted Josh before this, kind of made sure that, he knew what it was, which I wasn't surprised he knew what it was. I guess I was more asking, were you interested in it? Was it riveting to you like it was to me?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to quickly set the scene. About a year ago, a submarine that would take people down to see the Titanic kind of got lost And fast forward and you find out that it imploded.
Yeah.
And instantly killed everybody on board, which is very sad and very unfortunate. But what made it so interesting is the time from everybody losing connection to it, or not everybody, but connection being lost to it, to when we actually started finding debris. That period of time of searching for it and everybody thinking that they're just in the vast ocean being swept by a current. They're all alive. They're lost. They just don't have contact. That whole saga was more thrilling than any movie I've ever watched. It was unreal.
It really did. It was like OJ. Oh, here we go again. I don't know. I don't know what's causing
What is that?
Nothing changed in here. I have no idea what. Oh, it's because y'all keep opening the door. That's why. Darn kids. Yeah, no, it was O.J. Simpson levels of gripped the nation.
Yeah. OJ levels of just like every day refreshing the news. Do you remember exactly how long? It felt like months to me. I don't know if it was actually that long or not, but it felt like it was a long time.
No, I remember. So like the social media saga kind of tied to it, because it's everything's very flash in the pan now, right? Like it's like Hawk Tuah was like, on a Monday, she was blowing up for her video, and then 2 weeks later, not to be rude, but no one gave a shit, right?
Right.
Everything is kind of like that now.
Right.
But yeah, I remember when it was kind of like in action, right? Like it was a thing, like all the news feeds were like, hey, we have the hour countdown, right? Like they're going to run out, they're going to run out of oxygen in 12 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours, whatever. I remember that very clearly, and then the kind of the meme circus, obviously, that was kind of around it. The funniest thing, and I hate to say the funniest thing, because it is, people died. It is tragic, and that's true. But the funniest thing to me is the fact that they were driving this thing with what was essentially like a Mad Catz PlayStation controller from the bottom shelf at Walmart, which is, I don't know. I will ask you, because you kind of teed this up. How much, like, have you heard about just kind of the poor care and kind of cavalier nature that the guy who kind of funded this, his approach was? Like, everything that I've heard is essentially like he kind of rushed it to failure. He had these actual scientists and engineers who were like, not a good idea, man.
Right.
Not seaworthy. Definitely not bottom of the seaworthy. Like they were saying, like when he would take it out, they would literally just tie it to a back of the boat and drag it through the water to get it where it was supposed to go. It wasn't like hoist it up out of the water. And then during the winter, he would leave it uncovered in a parking lot and let snow on it and stuff. Like this thing had no real like true like the maintenance that is worthy of something that needs to go into this. Like I think it painted a good picture for the public of just how harsh an environment 3,000 feet under the surface of the ocean actually is.
No, I did hear about a lot of that. And I was reading actually right before we recorded. There's only like 9 subs on Earth apparently that can go down to that depth.
Yeah.
And they're all made of steel. And this was made of carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber, dude.
Like,
yeah.
Which, whatever. And so this guy's name, what is it? Stockton Rush, which is kind of poetic that he was like
in a hurry.
in the thing.
Yeah, rushed it to failure.
Well, and he was actually inside it when it imploded.
Yeah.
He actually, though, I thought this was just some like schmuck who, like Firefest type guy who just threw something together. He was actually apparently like he graduated from Princeton, he had an engineering degree. He was a pilot, and this video was kind of comparing him to like being the Elon Musk of underwater. They were saying that what Elon Musk is doing with SpaceX, he was trying to do with underwater, and his whole thing was, why would we go explore outside of the planet when we haven't even explored everything within our planet? And he was saying that like the future of mankind is not on Mars or whatever. it's underwater. And he was on all these big TV shows saying one day we will have cities underwater. And when we ruin the world or the sun burns out, we will be living underwater because there's so many resources down there. And so he had this idea that he was trying to save humanity. Now, right. So they were saying this is why he rushed everything. And there's videos of him inside this little submarine that he's like, safety at a certain point is just a waste. He's like, you can only be so safe. And he said it would have taken me millions of dollars and months and months and months to actually get these subs regulated, how whatever that governing body is that makes you get them regulated, it would have taken him a long time to do it. So he was saying the whole point was, I'm just going to show them that I can do it with way less than what they're going to make me regulate this thing to. And so he was pushing and pushing and pushing. And so I have no doubt that at some point, he was a very brilliant man, but somewhere along the way, I think he got so delusional by this grand idea of like taking mankind below water that he just threw all safety and regulations out the window in the name of like speed, I guess. And so I didn't realize all that about him, but provide some context.
No, I there's a lot of that I actually didn't know. And I don't think any of that is bad, to be honest. Like, I don't think it's bad to... Look, you can't be a dummy and make $1 billion. You can't. I mean,
right.
You can be a dummy and inherit $1 billion, but you can't be a dummy and build $1 billion company.
Right.
Yeah, I would argue that that's probably true.
Yeah.
But you can absolutely be a smart person who made $1 billion, and now that you have that in your pocket, you start making some really arrogant and foolish decisions. It really like everything that this guy could have been about. Again, I don't know the story. He might be a giant piece of shit. He might have been truly just an altruistic guy trying to save humanity.
Right.
Like you said, right? Good Lord. Like, you hear these people in court who worked for him and were like, you gotta pump the brakes, man. You're going to die. You're going to get other people killed, which arguably that's what happened.
Yeah.
And he fired them.
Yeah.
He fired them for telling him to slow the fuck down on this crazy idea.
I think that's where this whole thing goes really wrong to me. If you have this big delusional idea and you're pushing the envelope, you're pushing the boundary or the limits of this whole idea, you can't take other people down there with you. And you can't not be open about that. If you want to do that, you go ahead. But the moment you drag a guy and his son down there, and two other guys, that's where you really crossed the line to me. You took other people down with you.
Yeah. I that's what makes it a tragedy, right? Like, everyone's like, yeah, eat the rich. This is, they're glad this is happening and stuff. I think honestly, like, memes have kind of made it easy to be cavalier about death in a way that I think most people are not in real life. Like, people who would maybe make a crass joke about someone literally, like I don't think people understand how violent and sudden this death was.
Yes.
The implosion happened in mere milliseconds, meaning
snap of a finger.
The computer just turned off for these people, which is probably good, because when you consider what the implosion did to their bodies, which is it blew them up. It 100%, it turned them inside out and turned them into hamburger meat in milliseconds. I want to be completely all the way gone when that happens to me.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like you think about how society kind of reacted to it. I'm not going to lie. Like, at a certain level, I think you are allowed to be cynical about it, because like you said, like, this was a foolish thing to do. He went about it in a foolish way. He had people telling him to stop, to pump the brakes, to slow down, to consider the safety regulations, not for bureaucracy's sake, but because, like, hey, that made this thing out of carbon fiber, and then you let it get snowed on all winter. That water that melted is now in these carbon fibers. It's creating cracks. It's gonna pop, and it did. So I don't know.
I think that's why that whole thing was so gripping to me, though. I can't think of a more frightening scenario than being in that thing. Say it didn't pop. You actually just lost contact and got swept away by the ocean's current. And you are in this tiny little pod. And you have no contact, oxygen running out, no idea where you are. Can you think of a more like panic-inducing scenario than that?
So,
and before we know they actually exploded, we thought that's what they were going through, and that's why it was so gripping to me.
Yeah, it also really a terrible way to die. To be clear, have you seen the inside of the actual vehicle?
Like after implosion, or just in general?
Just before. Yeah, it was
like really small, right?
It was literally a tube, and it was like a flat surface on the bottom, and that was it. Like, it wasn't like some like high-tech sub filled with computers and camera screens and FLIR and all that stuff. It was literally like hollow on the inside. It's like there weren't even benches. Like, people were literally just sitting on the ground essentially in this death tube.
Looked like the inside of like a Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
It really did. It really did. It was very sparse on the inside. Yeah, whether you knew it was kind of like impending an implosion, or you were just going to suffocate or starve and die of thirst in there. I don't know. It's red flag city. Like, looking at this thing when it was above the water, I would be like, you can put your logo on the side of it. That doesn't make me. And then you show me the controller that you're driving it with, which is ridiculous to me as well.
Would you have changed your mind the moment that he whips that out? You're submerging, and then you see that he's over there with this fucking... Were they controlling it from within, or was it remote?
I think it's one of those things. Like, we always look at a tragedy, like we had the big kind of 9/11 thing discussion a couple weeks ago, and I've had that thought a lot of times. And I don't know if you went through this watching those documentaries as well, but like, okay, if I was in Tower 1 and I was on this floor, what would I do? What could I do? What would I have to do? If I was in Tower 2, what would I do? Could I make it to that one staircase that didn't get obliterated? You know, if I was a firefighter, what would I do? It's easy to have those conversations after the fact because we know what happened. We know where the safe zones were.
Right.
Before the OceanGate thing, I think it would be easy to say, like, well, no, I don't think it's good that we're controlling this with the discount controller from Walmart, but I'm not an oceanographer. I'm not a billionaire. Maybe I climb inside that thing. Now, after the fact, after the OceanGate thing, if I ever get invited on someone's death sub, I'm going to be very, very, you know, I'm going to be extremely like discerning about like, hey man, like let's go into some of the specifics here. Like, what kind of pressure we rated for? What are you driving this thing with? Is it a PlayStation controller? Because that's not a good sign.
Let's see your service and maintenance records on this bad boy.
Yeah, I want to see a complete service report on this thing. I'm going to Carfax your little death sub here.
Man.
So
I just want to know, leading up to the moment of implosion, were there signs that things were going wrong? Or was everything, were they cutting it up? Going to see the Titanic. And in the snap of a finger, lights out.
Well, I think there is actually like now, because I think the reason that this has kind of like come back to the zeitgeist is because the trial, I believe, is going on, and that's where some of like the footage that's gone on or that's come about has come from. But I do want to say, without knowing any better, that their last radio transmission to the surface was like, "We're okay down here."
Okay, I think I did read. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
So if that is true, in their mind, I feel like at least until they lost contact and knew they were fucked, they were probably cutting it up. They were probably like oohing it on at the ocean floor or whatever. If they made it that far down before the implosion happened, anyway. There's a lot of specifics I don't know, but yeah, man, it stinks, but it's also like, it's one of those things, like, it reminds me that, like, you can be one of the 1% in this world. You could be an actor, you could be a billionaire, you could be the most famous person on the planet. At the end of the day, you are a meat sack. You are a
Right.
a ghost piloting a robot made of steak.
Yes. No match for Mother Earth, man. No match.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you are just as susceptible to the angel of death as any of the rest of us.
Yep.
Without any regard for how much money you have made or haven't made. So, yeah, I don't know. Not to make it.
I just think everybody else on there is what really, like, if Elon Musk one day was like, I'm going to hop in my spaceship and I'm going to go to Mars, and he goes alone, and on the way it blows up, that would be horrible. I don't want anybody to die.
Yeah.
But people would probably be like, huh, well, kind of headed there, right? Like that, like he was just pushing the envelope and something went wrong and he took himself out. If this guy was by himself, it wouldn't be any less bad. He still would, there's still one life lost. But it's these other people that trusted him to go do something, and he wasn't honest with them. And as a result, they lost their life. Now, should they have ever been in there in the first place? I don't know. Probably not. But they don't know. They're just taking some rich geniuses at the time's word for it, thinking we're all good here. This guy's dove hundreds of times, and their life is gone. So that's, to me, where this really, really goes sour.
I agree, and I think my final thought on it would be, if I was in that position, if I had $1 billion in something I was really passionate about, settling Mars, settling the ocean, settling the moon,
right,
solving world hunger, whatever, and I have to lay it all on the line and take some kind of risk like that, like an OceanGate level risk, right? Like put my life on the line, potentially put other people's lives on the line. I want, even if I die, for there to be a shot at that problem still being solved. It's all well and good to say we should live on the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
Nothing about what happened in this OceanGate thing got us any closer to that. If anything, people just fucking hate the ocean now.
Yeah.
And
now they're like, you know what? I don't ever want to go down there.
Yeah. Like, even if we could survive down there, the whole ocean floor could be paved in gold. Apparently, when you get down low enough, your submarine turns inside out and turns you inside out with it. So, we're not going down there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He kind of shut the door on his whole. I feel like, if anything, people are like, yeah, that's a terrible idea. Let's just go outward.
That idea is out. So, anyway, terrible thing. Not to make light of loss of life or anything, but it is, as something that has happened in our lifetime, I think it's worth some examination for sure. It's an odd thing that gripped the nation for sure.
Yes, very odd. Very odd.
Like it.
Well, you want to do some write-ins? You want to save
write-ins? Do we have any new ones coming in?
Yes.
I'll run a couple with you.
We have 2, 3. Okay, we got 3 right here.
All right, full send. Cody's thinking really hard about this one.
Well, I'm trying to actually see exactly where I left off last time. Did I read the 80s, 90s action movie star one? Is that ringing a bell?
I don't think so, actually. That's
all right. Snakebite Pain.
Snakebite Pain.
If you each got the chance to co-star opposite an 80s or 90s action movie star, what film would it be?
Oh, like what movie would I be in?
Yes, but you're not the star. You're co-starring with the star. Yes.
I feel like my default answer would probably be Arnold. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love Total Recall. I love Predator.
Football head.
I love Terminator. But I will say, most of those movies that he stars in, everyone else dies. I don't want to be in Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I guess if we're making a movie, the question was, what movie would you want to be in, not what situation you would want to be in. From a movie perspective, any Arnold movie. I actually really I'm a huge Arnold fan. So even I don't know, he's a legend to me. You don't like him? You don't like Arnold?
No, I do. When you said Arnold, for some reason I went to Hey Arnold, Hey Football
okay.
Head.
Oh, that was okay. You said football head. I was like, is that what people call Arnold Schwarzenegger? It did not even occur to me that you're making a Hey Arnold joke there. Yeah, okay. Hey Arnold. Yeah, no, I would Total Recall, Predator, True Lies is great. I love Terminator 1 and 2. Yeah, any Arnold film for me.
That's a great answer. I'm actually having a look at 90s action movies right now to give me a few.
Cody was born in like the mid to late 90s.
I was born in 94.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't my heyday. You know what though? Independence Day is popping up. I could fight some aliens with Will Smith.
Let's
That'd
go.
be pretty
Okay.
cool.
I watched that with my daughter recently. Independence Day still holds up. It's actually still quite enjoyable.
It's good.
It's
good.
It's a banger, to be sure.
I don't know if this is Fight Club action, and is that not? That's not 90s, right? That's 2000.
It came out in 99 actually.
Ooh, all right.
You going Fight Club?
Put me right along. Brad Pitt.
Tyler Durden.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Bet.
That is one of my favorite movies. I love Fight. Give me Fight Club.
I watched Fight Club. That's another one I watched a couple weeks ago, and
Really?
still holds up.
Still good?
Still holds up.
Dude, the ending of that movie
Bonkers.
where like everything's collapsing and then the song, the Pixies or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. You met me at a very strange time in my life.
That is like the most chilling, just, I don't know, man. There's something about that scene that gets me. I love it.
Iconic.
Love it.
I love Fight Club.
Good question.
Yeah.
If you, Cool Boy 3010, if you had to adopt the grunt, this is easy for me. If you had to adopt the grunts or ad libs of James Hetfield, Michael Jackson, or Mario, who would you pick and why?
Oh man, I feel like Cool Boy already knew the answer before he typed this up, but yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep. Too easy.
That's a no-brainer. If I don't even care if it's like on a Tourette's basis where it's like I don't control it. It's that one every time.
Ooh,
yeah. Oi. In the grocery store. Sir, can you please calm down? Great question.
Give us the head for both of us.
Give
That's
us
hilarious.
the head. Pop a head for me.
Couple more here. Edward Pellew. Pellew. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. This is a long one. I haven't read it, so we're going to be hearing this in real time. It's not that long, actually. All right, lads. I've got a pair of little co-op players at home. Twin boys, 3 years old. What's the right age to press start on their gaming journey? I mean, I was smashing crates with Crash Bandicoot on the PS1 at age 8. So should I wait? Are you motioning?
No, my camera did the thing again. Someone came in.
Oh.
I'm blue.
I saw you at the corner of my eye.
I'm blue. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
So should I wait until they're ready to spin into action, or is it time to level up their screen time now? Help me avoid a game over in parenting.
Wow. That's a really well phrased question. Sorry, I'm all blue. People might. Okay, there we go. Lights.
Oh,
fixed.
there you go.
I don't know what it is. When they're interested in them, if you're a gamer, especially if your kids see you gaming, they're gonna want to game. If your kids see you reading, they're gonna want to read. Your kids just naturally want to mirror what you do. So for us, I'm a gamer. I think my oldest son was maybe 4 when he asked if he could play Sonic the Hedgehog, which it was like ported onto our Xbox. I didn't have like a Sega or anything, but
right.
yeah, he started on some side scrollers, some Sonic, some Mega Man, and yeah, now we're ripping it up on Fortnite, getting fisted together. So
So it's 3 years old. Too young? Should he wait a little longer, or?
I don't think so. I mean, it just depends. Like a lot of people kind of sneer at the whole like tablet culture, the iPad kid idea. My kids have had tablets for many years, and they're fine. They're pleasant to be around. They're respectful to their elders, and they have attention issues. I had attention issues, and tablets weren't a thing when I was growing up. No, I think when they show an interest in it, if they want to do it at whatever stage, as with anything, you put limits on it. You put a backstop on it. You say, okay, yeah, enjoy this for a little bit, and then, hey, we'll read a book or we'll build something out of Legos. But I honestly like video games. To me, I think I got my Nintendo when I was 5. I got Super Mario and Zelda and all that stuff when I was 5. So I would have played it before then if I had gotten it before then. But yeah, I don't know.
I think you're probably better equipped to answer that question specifically. I will say on the screen time note, we're trying to be conscious with our daughter about not just it is crazy how the gravitational pull from her eyes to the TV, it's wild, man. And today we have this little swing that's next to our TV, but it's right next to it. It's not in front of it. And I put her in there and I walked by and she had worked her way sideways and was looking up at the TV. So I got this other bouncer and I moved it away from the TV. I was picking the house up.
Yeah.
And it was almost perfectly opposite the TV, maybe a slight angle. And she was head all the way back around watching the TV. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Dad, come on. Let me take a look. Let me take a look.
It's her head. She was like an owl, dude. Head just 180 trying to look at the TV. So that's already becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Let him play. 3 years old. Rock out with him.
Yeah. Play ball for sure. Absolutely.
And last one here, and then we're all caught up. So if you're listening, we need more write-ins. If we don't have write-ins, we can't do an episode. So this is potentially, as of right now, the last Hardpoint episode.
We need your help.
For you both, which of Chief's characters are you most like? Wow, okay. When I mentally read that, I thought you said, which one do you like the most? Which of Chief's characters are you most like? I feel like they're each a little piece of you, so
yeah, that's true. Can I cast over you who I think you
please
remind me
do.
of
Yes.
most? Do you know? I don't know how closely you watch my content, but the Christensen character who's kind of got bright blue eyes. He kind of has a Buzz Lightyear look about him. It's kind of broy.
Oh, yes. I actually know.
He's Crafton's friend. He's kind of broy.
Yes.
He plays the drums in the band. Yeah. I think you are very much like a quiet inspiration for Christensen. He's just one of the boys. He just, he wants to vibe. He's young. He wants to get a girlfriend and just chill. He's a, typical guy in his early 20s. He's, yeah.
One of them is me. All right. Yeah.
I never really thought about that until now, looking at you, but I was like, damn, Cody kind of is Christensen a little bit, but yeah.
Inspired by
the
Big C Murd.
C Murd, yeah. I like it.
Which one? Do you have one of them that you're I'm mostly this guy gets me?
I think we had a question a couple weeks ago about do I ever say the things as me out in life. I think I did catch myself the other day very recently telling my kids some Sergeant Major type stuff hey
yeah,
do the doggone dishes yelling at him he might, and I was like, dang, it's starting to permeate my life a little bit.
That's how I picture you at work, just
oh no. My work setting is very it's an office, so it's very corporate. So
well,
there's not a lot of I work with mostly civilians, so we're very just we talk about circling back and stuff, and who's got the meeting minutes and all that shit.
Yeah. Table this.
Yeah.
This that.
Time for another all hands. Gotta do the all hands.
But at some point, have you ever been over had people, I don't know, say underneath, I guess, have you ever pulled some Sergeant Major? Have you had people under you answering to you?
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's as I was asking that question. I was like, of course. At some point.
yeah. I think I did my best not to like. That's a very like kind of like inflated version of like how NCOs like sergeants talk to their soldiers or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I don't. It's been many years since I like chewed someone out.
Yeah.
And I never. It was one of those things like you always, as a soldier, you think I can't wait to chew people out. It's not a happy thing to do.
Right.
It's. I realize more and more. I was like, I don't like chewing people out. I've had to do it.
Right.
I've had soldiers make pretty glaring mistakes. That was kind of like, hey man, we got to fix this right here and now. Let's go do some push-ups or whatever. But yeah, as I grew in my career and just kind of got more mature, I realized like, hey, I could probably make more of an impact on this individual if I just take him to the side and be like, hey, what you're doing is pretty wrong, and let's fix it together, you know. But yeah, no, I've gotten in some people's asses, but I have people getting in my ass too, you know. So it's part of the lifestyle. But yeah, I would say I discourage anyone from outright like chewing someone's ass.
Right. Was it a positive reinforcement?
Yeah. It's you know, not to get too like ooey gooey about it, but like it's a human business, right? Like you want to, if you are in charge of people, if you do have soldiers or a team or whatever of people who are subordinate to you, whether in the military or in the corporate world, you need to shape and influence them, not boss them around. And I didn't get that right every time for sure, but yeah, it's much. You get more buy-in if you're just like, hey, I care about you knowing this stuff. You know, this is your career, and I want to help you take it seriously. Understand there's some stuff you may not understand about it, but let's, you know, hey, we'll learn together. You know, I had a lot more.
You should make that character. Make the positive reinforcement character.
Well, that's me. That's who I am, bro. No. You know, I don't stick the landing every time, but that's get much better results like that. So
sure, yeah,
cool.
Well, that's it, folks.
That's all, folks. Hey, I want to thank you guys for tuning in with us this week. Really fun episode. Taking in a deep dive, if you will. Never forget. Hey, closing in on episode 50. 50 episodes is nuts. We're coming up on a year of the Hardpoint. Can't believe it. Want to thank all our writers, inners. Snakebite Pain. Edward Pelelilu, cool boy, Pelelele.
See boy,
my fellas, my little writers, keep doing that. Keep writing in. We love that. We love reading those questions. They're a lot of fun, and it helps us build out the show a little bit. If you liked watching the episode, make sure you like and subscribe. If you like listening, leave a little rating, leave a review, leave a comment, give us a little boosty woosty. We sure would appreciate it. We'll see you next week for episode number 48. I want to wish you all the most Baja of blessings as have ever been wished upon your little foreheads. Why are you laughing? That's serious. This is a serious moment. See you guys next week. Get fisted. My fists are hungry.